Now, if you fly from any British airport, you'll be used to paying air passenger duty, a green tax of between £10 and £80. The government says the money reflects the damage that flying does to the environment, and it's putting the tax up again in November. But many airlines are now saying that increase should be abandoned. They claim the tax is unfair, it's damaging an industry that's already struggling to attract passengers in the recession. Michelle DeLeo is from the pro-aviation group Flying Matters. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What's your position on this?
Well, I think there are two things that we need to look at. The first is what the impact of the tax is, and all the evidence shows, and it's evidence conducted by independent research bodies, that actually middle and low income families will be priced out of flying by these tax rises. The government's own figures revealed last week show that 1.5 million people will no longer be flying because of the tax by 2030, and those mostly come from short haul destinations. So the question that we ask about that is that a justifiable price to pay for aviation's environmental impact? And the reality is that aviation globally accounts for 2% of carbon emissions. The UK's share of that is very small, and actually the best way of dealing with aviation's environmental impact is through technological advances, but in terms of paying for that impact is through a global solution, which is what we're looking at the G8 and at Copenhagen.
People will be thinking, though, that lots of industries are facing economic pressures at the moment, the airline industry too. What you're doing really is pinning that on the environmental issue. I mean, the environmental issue goes on and on. This is a long-term thing. The recession will come and go. You'll have better times then. So sure, you just press ahead with the environmental issues now. You have to deal with the recession separately. Why are the two being linked?
Well, I think that obviously, you know, a tax coming at any time is likely to be significantly impactful on low and middle income families. It's particularly bad during a recession, and obviously the industry is facing very tough times during a recession, so the timing couldn't be worse. But actually you do, as you're completely right, you do need to decouple the two, and the reality is that the demand for aviation is cyclical, and when the economy starts to recover, the demand for flying also recovers. But what we will find is that where, you know, 30 years ago flying was the preserve of a wealthy elite, you know, today most people, if you take a 3-year period, 70% of people will have flown at least once. So the reality is that the tax will just stop people doing that without any real environmental benefit, and that's the real problem.
In essence, this is an economic argument for the airlines to do with the recession. So, for example, would they be prepared to say, I'll tell you what, if we put this tax on hold for 3 years until we're out of this dreadful patch, you can come in and it'll be twice as much then because we're making money again?
No, the government's justification for this tax is that the industry isn't paying its way on environmental terms, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with the economy. It justifies it on environmental grounds, and the reality is that the tax doesn't go towards any environmental resources or projects or research in any way. It goes straight into the tax take and is spent on a range of other things. The government's own figures show that the industry is already paying more than what it calculates is its environmental impact. And actually, if you have a global approach through emissions trading, which is what all the nations are looking to agree at Copenhagen, then actually what you do with a unilateral UK tax is pay twice for the same impact, and that really can't be, you know, a fair way of looking at it, especially when the price is that ordinary working families who only fly occasionally will be the ones priced out of flying. Okay, and Michelle DeLeo from Flying Matters, we will have to leave it there. We'll be investigating this throughout the programme. Thank you very much.